Hello, hello, wealth family. It's 1:14 Central Standard Time and 2:14 Eastern Standard Time on June 15th, which is a Friday. We are going into the weekend. I hope you guys had a great trading weekend or a great trading week. The beginning of my week started off a little rocky, but I have officially decided to let go of CRT and I am back with officially just structure. And I know my chart looks a lot different than what it normally looks like. And we are going to go over everything. So I added structure and also added in RSI MACD divergence. Would have never seen that coming for myself. All right, so I'm going to delete my chart and we are going to talk about structure today. You're gonna have to, well, we can mark it up on this one. For some reason, the futures charts have all of those lines. So we'll mark it up on Owanda's SPX chart for now. And we'll actually, let's come to GU. GBP USD, which is a pair that has more structure than just SPX because indices pairs, they just go straight up. Okay. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's a thing of external structure and internal structure, which is why we're now just focusing on structure points instead of CRT points. So I'm going to get my path tool out and I am going to point out external structure. So as you can see on this monthly time frame, price is making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? This is what it would seem to look like. But with external structure, this right here is one full move and this is the pullback. Okay. And then this was our next low. Okay. So we didn't mark it like this. Because if I bring out this horizontal line, we can tighten it up some. This is all one level, right? So this is structure. This is what we mean as far as price can pull all the way back to the structure point and not break it before making a new low, right? It was some harsh movements last night, wasn't it? I don't know, but it was beautiful for my account. Okay, we're going over structure. So, this right here is our external move, okay? Now we can come down to the weekly. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to mark up our monthly structure first, okay? So, this was our new low here. And this was the last low that price had to make a new low. Okay. And then this was our high that took us down to our new low. So this is our monthly structure areas. Okay. So now we'll come down to our weekly and let's find our weekly structure within our monthly structure area. Okay. So remember, this is our last high, this is our last low, this was our last lower high. Now, when we come down into the weekly, we see that price has pushed up, right? And it broke this last area that took us down to our last low. So this is a structure area here that we were looking for price to break to let us know that price is going to go higher. Now, as you can see, price broke it, came back, retested it, broke that high, came back, retested it again, but it never broke these lows to say that we're going to go lower. It's still saying that we're going to go higher. So we're going to keep this area. And then you can also see that this becomes a support area. Okay. Because this is a structure point. All right. So now I want to find my last high structure point. Okay. So I have this point here, but I also have this area here, right? I'm not going to mark this area yet because this is not a structure point until we officially get a new high. And we won't officially get a new high until we officially get a new higher low. Okay? That sends price up to a new high. All right. So this is my structure point that I'm paying attention to because this was the last high that price has to get on top of to go higher. Because as you can see, price broke out, but it didn't hold to go higher. It reversed back to the last structure point. All right. So now I have my monthly and my weekly structure points marked up. Now I want to come down to my daily, my 4-hour, and my hourly, and I want to look for fair value gaps within these areas because this is still a wide range. Okay. But we're just kind of we're getting closer and closer to present time. Okay. So we know price is still in the uptrend because it came back and retested these lows. And now it broke this high. Okay. Which technically this was the high that we're trying to break. But now it broke this high and we're continuing higher. I'm going to zoom over and I want to look within this area here. And I want to look for fair value gaps for zones. So of course I see this big fair value gap here. So I'm going to mark that off. Now, when I use these zones, you see how I mark this fair value gap off and it just automatically shows you the resistance or that price has trying to get through these areas. So I want to use this area. And then if you look at price, you can see right here on the dotted line, we've broken through this area. So now I want to find another fair value gap. And immediately, of course, my eyes is drawn to this one right here because it was our last retest here. This is what I mean by a retest. It was our last retest. It touched it and then it went lower. And then if we come over, you see that price also respected that area over there. So now I'm just going to come back to current price. And this was that fair value gap that we marked. And as you can see, price rejected it, did a pullback, finally pushed above it, retested it, and now it's kind of like consolidating on this area. This looks like a higher time frame ascending channel, right? So now we can block off price even more. Okay. Now we're on the daily chart. So just this section right here was the last 24 days. Okay. So we started with the bigger picture to bring it into the smaller picture, okay? Now I'm going to come down to my 4 hour, and you guys were talking about aggressive moves last night. Well, if you had this marked up, you would have seen that price came to the top of this channel, and it aggressively sold last night. 116 pips in 16 hours. It did this on GU, GJ, EJ, UJ, and EU. EU was kind of subtle though. EU didn't happen as violently. And then SPX, which I cleared my chart off of, but we're going to mark that up. Okay, so hello. All right, so now we're on our 4 hour, and this is currently where price action is, right? We have a fair value gap here that it looks like price just broke through. And as you can see, when I mark this fair value gap up, we look to the left, we have other resistance in this area, okay? So now we'll come down to our hourly time frame. And when we all know when price comes through these zones, we just want to wait for confirmation on what price is going to do. And this is where divergence comes in. All right, so we're going to be on the 15-minute time frame. And we'll go to indicators, and you can just type in MACD. It's this one right here, INDYAN, which is the creator, RSI MACD. Okay. Now, I don't know if how long you guys have been trading, but when I first started trading, I started following Jeremy Cash, and he had, or still has, I think he still uses this strategy, but it was the RSI oversold, overbought, right? And I think he was using support resistance. I'm not sure, but the zones don't work like these zones. So of course we know if it's overbought, and this is the indicator down here, okay? The RSI is the squiggly lines here, and I didn't change any settings. I'm using his settings, the guy who created it. I'm using his settings, okay? But we know once price get to these zones, if it's oversold, and then we get our candlestick patterns as confirmation, or if you see how price here, if you follow the crosshair up, right, it's saying that this was a high, and then we have like a M pattern here, it's saying that this was a lower high, and it looks like price is starting to sell, okay? So let's back up on this indicator, okay? So we're using this indicator at zones to let us know when price is ready to sell or when price is ready to buy, okay? When price gets up here, you see this peak, just follow the crosshair up. It's a high, so that said price is going to sell, and you see price sold. If we come over here, right, this was our first high, okay? This right here is saying it was our second high, and this point is saying it was our third high. But you see how, although down here on and I forget about going live on TikTok sometimes. Let me figure out what y'all can see on my chart. This is why I've moved to YouTube. The YouTube link is in my bio. And I do have all of this week's my trades. I just trade live from YouTube. So If you want to see how I caught that SPX sale, I did it all live. The indicator is this one right here. All right, give me 1 second. I'm pulling up TikTok. I want to see I want to make sure y'all can see what I'm looking at. Okay. All right, so this is the indicator. It's MACD, RSI together, and this is where we're looking for our oversold, overbought, and divergence, okay? So I was showing you guys on the indicator this section right here where it says bear, and then it kind of drew its own trend line, which is that straight line right there. And then you kind of have this point here, and then price dropped, and then it pulled up. You have another point, then price dropped, and then it pulled up, right? So if we look and follow the cursor up here at the top, this was our first peak on the indicator right here. This was our first high. And then if we come over, this gave us our second high. Okay. And I say first high because it did like a high, higher low, right? High, higher low, high. Okay. So this was our first peak. We got to pull back. We come over. This is our second peak. We got to pull back. We come over. This is our third peak at this high. But as you can see, they're getting lower down here. This hit our zone. It gave us an extremely engulfing candle. Remember, our engulfing candlesticks is a pattern confirmation. When price takes out the high and the low, nope, it's free. It takes out the high and the low. Okay, that's an engulfing candle. Remember, we can wait for price to fill 50%, which is this line right here. It didn't do that. So this was going to be one of those you have to get in, especially looking at this candle, right? This is another thing with reading candles. If you don't know how to read candles, we started the Candlestick Bible. The videos are on my YouTube. The link is in the bio. But as you can see, this is a heavy candle. It has very small wick at the bottom and a small wick at the top. Price started up here. It closed down here. Bears came into the market. Okay. So your entry would have been here, and then stop loss up here. And TP down here at your last low. It was not quite a 1 to 2. Oh, sorry guys. My nose ring is bothering me. Not quite a 1 to 2, so we wouldn't have taken it, but you could have if you're on the 1 minute. But we're not going to go into the 1 minute. We're going to stay on the 15 minute. All right. But this is just letting you guys know what to look out for. We do want to make sure we're focusing on 2 to 1 or higher trades, okay? Strategy structure. All right. What else are we looking for on this indicator? Okay, so sometimes, right? So you see how price comes to the low, right? And then it pushed up. Okay, so this is what we want to look for at these zones. At these zones. We want to look for price to be at a high or a low. And then we want to see price start making. So if it's at a low, we want to see price start making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If it's at a high, we want to see price start making, lower highs, lower lows. Okay. So here, Price is at a zone. Okay. As you can see, it started peaking over here. It started peaking over here. Remember, you want to let it get to its zone before you do anything, because price is going to that zone. Okay. So it started peaking over here. You see it's making lower highs, lower lows, but price is still moving up. All right. And then we got our second higher low here. So you can go on the second one, or you can wait to see if there's going to be a third one. Okay. Because this is our M. This is an M. And this is the only time double tops and double bottoms work too, is down here on this indicator. Here, here, here. Our second peak, and price dropped. Now, with the second peak, this right here is the second peak. Right here, you see right here, then you match it up with the candlestick pattern. Okay? You got your second peak, and you have an evening star. Okay? Bullish candle, doji, bearish candle. You get in at the close of the bearish candle here. Stop loss at the high of the doji. TP back. You can do TP here because you see that fair value gap here. And remember, this purple area is a zone. Price does not have to come to the 50%. It could just touch the zone, as you can see it's doing, just touching the zone. Okay. But this fair value gap here is a smaller time frame, this 15-minute. You can set TP at 50% of the gap. And this was a 4-to-1. Okay. Although you do see that you had a little bit of drawdown, right? So now we look at this drawdown and we come back to our indicator. What is price showing on our indicator? Price came underneath this zone, which is letting me know that price could possibly pull back. Okay. You see price touch the middle part, it pulled back. Okay. Price gets underneath, it pulled back. We're just not sure how low it can go. And you see right here, it went pretty low. It came into this zone. Okay. And then it shot up. All right. If you missed the sell, this could have been a buy that you could have been looking for, because price came into the fair value gap. It gave you an engulfing candle at a zone. Engulfing candle. Price runs the low, the high and the low. That's what it has to be to engulf. Okay. This right here is not an engulfing candle because it did not run that low. Okay. It gave you an engulfing candle. Get in at the engulfing candle, or you can wait to see if price is going to pull back 50%. I've been noticing that price doesn't pull back to the 50% too often. Okay. Then price was at the low, right? Got an engulfing candle. Right here on the indicator, right? We got our W pattern. Here, here, here. And price went up. So I am definitely adding back RSI and divergence. For the longest, I was trying to figure out divergence, and I finally figured it out. So SPX, I caught this sale. I caught that sale last night, and I just so happened to buy an Apex account because I was feeling good about adding RSI divergence back to my strategy and going back to structure and leaving CRT, because what I realized with CRT zones is you're basically just trying to catch the reversals, because CRT was candle range theory, and it's the theory that every candle trades back into each other and you're trying to trade it back into 50% of the previous candle. I had a great first 2 months with it, and then it started to get iffy. So I was like, let me go back to structure, and I went back to structure, And I went back to watching Jessica Lange videos, and I noticed that she still uses divergence. And one of her students that I follow, Mike Lito, he still uses divergence too. And I finally figured out divergence. So um, if you noticed yesterday on my post, I posted the picture, okay? And I posted before and after, and I had this area here marked up. Okay, so you see price was consolidating in this channel up here. And then if we look again down here at the RSI, this is making like little higher highs, and this is making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So when they're doing the opposite, a reversal is coming. And then we also had a zone here. Fair value gap right here. And then I think there was one here on another time frame. Yep, this 30-minute. Okay. So breaking news, overbought and oversold worked just at the right zones. Who knew? Who would have known? Who would have known? So I'm gonna mark up SPX. I said I was only gonna be on here for an hour, and then I'm gonna upload this to my YouTube. The link to my bios in the YouTube, how I made this 4K on this challenge. Literally not even a full day because I brought the challenge last night. I caught that move last night, and then I caught some of this by this morning. Both of those are on YouTube, and the link is in the bio. Okay, so we're gonna do structure on SPX, right? Because SPX, NAS, and US30 structure is a little different, right? Because as you can see, we don't have all of those ups and downs, ups and downs. It's mainly a bullish pair. Okay. So all you lost your funded, come to the lives on YouTube. I'm trading live on YouTube. Will help you get it back to zero. All right, so come back out and let's follow this area of structure right now. Okay, so of course we know it's making higher highs and higher lows, right? So this was a low, this was our high. This is one full move. This is our pullback. Okay, this right here is one full move. This is our pullback. Okay, and I did this as one full move and not adding this as a pullback, because you cannot have a pullback until price breaks a valid pullback until price breaks structure. And this was our last structure point high that gave us a pullback. So right now you can see this is our break, and price just retested this structure point. All right. So now I am going to mark my last high, which is here, because we know NAS is just making higher highs. Okay. My YouTube is Sierra_trades, but there's a link on my link tree in my bio, and it'll just take you right to it. All right, so weekly. Now we'll come down to the weekly. Okay. And now we want to find our weekly structure. Okay. So I'm going to start again from this last low just because it's predominant, right? It stands out. I'm going to follow this up. In order for it to be considered a pullback, you need at least three candles of the opposite color. Okay. So here, I'm not counting this as a pullback. This was a small, like, retest of this, right? Because price just broke out of this area. It kind of pulled back a little bit to see if it wanted to go higher, and it did. Okay. So here to here to here. This was our full breakout of this high. And as you can see, price pulled back to retest it. It came underneath, but ultimately price closed above this zone. Okay. And then took us to here, here, and here. Okay. So now my most relevant structure point would be here. Okay. Just because it's closest to price. All right. And as you can see, price bought up, then came all the way back and retested that monthly structure that it broke. Okay. And now it's pushing back up. So this is the zone that I'm really paying attention in right now, because this is current price. So now I'm going to come down to my daily. Okay. And as you can see, price stayed within this area for quite some time before it broke out. And now we're back. I'm going to mark this fair value gap here. And remember, I said when I mark a gap or an inversion now, to the left of it, I want to see hesitation, right? Because I know that when price comes back to it, it's going to react. And that's what happened. Price reacted. Okay. Now we can come down to our 4 hour and we can come a little closer into current price. This is 27 days. I see that I have a trend line because I have a rejection point here and a rejection point here. Okay. So as you can see, current price action for the last 30 days, we've been playing on this trend line. Now we just broke underneath it. Do we know if this sale is going to hold? No, not yet. I'm marking up this fair value gap here, right here. This from this candle right here, this fair value gap. Okay. Price rejected it, kind of brought through it. Looks like the buy isn't quite holding. Okay. And this is current. So now I want to look for another area that if price is going to sell, where is price going to sell to? And I see a fair value gap right here. And price never touched 50%. My phone died. Oh, keep trying to make sure y'all can see what I see. It's cut off my screen. Sorry, guys. Okay. So price bought all the way up here. Then it broke our trend line. Okay. Then I marked up this big fair value gap right here. And as you can see, price touched it here. It touched it here. It finally broke through it. And it came back here, rejected, but it didn't hold. It didn't hold. And then I can come and add my indicator back here. And remember, we're looking for like M patterns. This started telling us all the way over here that it wanted to start selling, right? But remember, wait till it gets to your zone. Okay. This got to our zone. Price did sell. And remember, it came to the low on the indicator and it also hit a trend line, letting us know that it was ready to continue higher. All right. Over here, we got our high. We got our higher low. And we got another higher low. All right. So this is current price. I had this fib on the 15-minute, but I want to see about this 4-hour fib. This 618 aligns with a gap right here. It is Friday to something, so we'll see if this what happens next week. But this is going to be the first zone that we want to see it fall to. All right. So this is current price action for SPX, and then gonna take away the background on that one. I'm looking because I was looking for the trade that I caught last night. I know I had another zone right here, but this was our impulse right here. This is our correction, and this was our continuation. All right. Price came to the 618 and it reversed like it was supposed to do. So I caught some of this buy. All right, so it looks like current zone is here. And I can get rid of this one. Yeah, so it's definitely making its way down here. The entry is already missed, but this was the zone, right? We had a fair value gap here. We look down here on the RSI, right? Price peaked here. This is where we got our first high, and these two connected and said bear, okay? So remember, price has to get to the zone. We got our first high. We got our lower low because price broke that area. We got our lower low. And then we got our second high at the zone, but it's not higher than this, so it was a higher low, right? And then price started making lower highs and lower lows. And then you also got your evening star pattern. That evening star and then golfing at the zones with this RSI is everything. So this is the zone, right? 50%. This was our second high, and this is the candlestick pattern. These three right here. Okay. It is a black candle. Although it ended bearish looking, it still ended black. So that lets me know that it is a bullish candle. Okay. This is a doji. This is a bearish candle. Evening star pattern. Get in right when the candle closes. Stop loss above it. Pending that this holds, right? Because the first low could have been TP. Okay. That was a 4-1. 42 points on SPX is great, right? Move your stop loss into profit or take profit here at this low. Okay. Second TP is the zone. Okay. And this takes us back to live market. Hey, baby. Call me. I'm about to get off of this. Call me. This takes us back to current live market. It's 1:54 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going on 2:54 Eastern Standard Time, so it's about to be 3 o'clock. The market is closed. I did take some live trades on YouTube today. I caught a buy this morning and a sell. I didn't catch the sell until here last night. I caught a little bit, but I did post, that the sale was going to happen before. You can go back and check out my TikTok page. You'll see that post. And then you can click the link in my bio and click YouTube, and you'll see those trades in live time. All right. Until then, I'll probably be back next Friday. We have 2 more chapters in the Candlestick Bible, okay, that we are going to do. If you don't know how to read a candlestick, we started the Candlestick Bible. Day 1 through whatever day we're on is on YouTube. When we finish the Candlestick Bible, we have 2 more chapters left. I am going to purchase the chart pattern book. So like this, of course, a trend line is a chart pattern, but this is also a channel, right? This also letting us know that price is ready to reverse eventually. You have wedges, you have flags. Here's a wedge here. That's a wedge. You have flags, you have pennants, all types of chart patterns, right? So we'll go into chart patterns after we get down how to read these candlesticks. And then every day I am live, taking my trades live on YouTube. So every day I'll be walking through how to mark up your chart and how to read the indicator with what's on your chart in real live time. Like back testing is great, but forward testing and testing the market live is when you really understand how to get in the market. So I am doing that on my YouTube channel live every day. The link is in the bio. And I'll see you guys when I see you, because I'm not sure when we're going to finish that book, but we will finish it. Click my name and press the notification bell, and TikTok will notify you when I'm live so you can come back and learn some more or possibly make some money, because I do trade live on TikTok also. All right. But I trade live on YouTube, so you can come over to YouTube and make some money. All right. It's 1:57. See you guys later. Oh, you're late. I'm sorry. I am literally going to download this and then upload it to YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it. Okay. How do you get this indicator? You just click indicators, type in RSI MACD. Okay. And you'll see this guy, INDYAN. You want his indicator. Okay. These are the creators of the indicators. You want his indicator because I love his settings. His settings was perfect. I didn't have to change anything. They were literally perfect. I love that for me. Hey, Fortunas, thank you for the rose. Send me a DM so we can figure out what we can do. All right. And I am also passing this Apex challenge live. We're up 4K since last night. I literally just brought this challenge last night, and SPX did wonderfully. So I only have to make 6K. I know we're gonna do that next week, because they're not doing, Apex isn't doing a 1-day challenge pass thing. You know how they do their sales and then they do 1-day challenge passes. Well, this one, they just had a regular sale. So we still have to go through 7 days. So no rush, but I know it's going to get done next week to be the 7th day. And I'm wondering technically, because I bought it Thursday. I don't know if Thursday and Friday is 2 days or Thursday and Friday is 1 day, because I bought it last night, Asia session. So it might be 1 day. Can I show you how to get the indicator again? You press indicators and you type in RSI MACD. Okay. And it's this one right here. And I think you can probably just type in INDYAN. Let's see what comes up. INDYAN. INDYAN. Yeah, you can type in his name. Oh, look at all of these other ones. Boring and explosive candle demand. What's that? Oh, he got supply and demand indicator. So anyone who trades supply and demand, It automatically marks it up. I don't really do supply and demand. I feel like their order blocks is the same thing. And then as you can see, price fell a little short, right? Because it came to the fair value gap. But okay, what else does he have? Real quick while I'm on here looking at it. Perfect buy sell. A lot. Mm-mm. It's a sell right here, and then it buys. It's a buy here. It bought up, but then it sold. That's a no. Okay, just stick to the RSI divergence. You're welcome. All right, guys, it's 2 p.m. I said I was only going to be on here for an hour. So we're tracking this. I think I may just leave this up because 3, 4, 5, we still got 2 hours in the market. I may just leave the live running until TikTok kicks me off. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go dark and see y'all later.